I'm going to share with you a lesson plan template that worked for me every single time when I was a classroom teacher, and why it's still such a good tool that you could develop or that you could use that I've created. Welcome to Efficiency and Organization, the channel where I talk about planning, organization, productivity, anything like that that has to do with saving time so we can all be successful in everything we do. Okay, this particular video is for teachers and for lesson planning. Now you're gonna see that a lot of what I'm gonna say in this video has to do, it's all based on Madeline Hunter's style and method and ideology, and she was a UCLA professor who talked about lesson planning, effective lesson planning, and how to teach, and she is amazing. So my lessons were, what I basically did as a classroom teacher, they were all the same base PowerPoint lessons, structures. So I use the same base every single day, okay? And I am going to share the link with you that you could download for the lesson plan template that you can use. And my lessons always started with some kind of a warm-up, like when the students came in, there had to be something on the board for them to do. And I always timed it to be about 5 minutes. If I needed 1 or 2 extra minutes, fine. If not, I always timed it for about 5 minutes. So it always had some kind of a warm-up. And the warm-up was from problems that they had done the previous day, or problems that they stumbled on the previous day, or ideas, like kind of like prior knowledge ideas that they might need to be successful. So something that would lead into your direct instruction is what I would do for the warm-up. Then I would do the direct instruction, and I made sure it does not go beyond 15-20 minutes the most, because kids get bored. If most students are like me, where the mind is constantly working, like an ADHD brain, we cannot take information overload. We learn in chunks, and so that's why having this template is so helpful to me. I timed it to make sure it was 15-20 minutes. And direct instruction to me did not mean that I'm supposed to talk the whole time. I made it very conversational because, again, as a student who learns from that, I made sure I incorporate that. And then also one of the things I did was checking for understanding throughout. So I would do maybe 2 examples as quickly as I could. Then they had to do an example, 2 me, 1 them kind of a thing. And to break the monotony more, my checking for understanding was on whiteboards mostly. So if you're teaching a subject where you can do that, awesome. Because you don't want the kids to just write in notebooks. You kind of want them to be able to use different tools, different strategies, different techniques to break the monotony. Again, this is especially for students who are a little bit hypertension and ADHD, so that way you're not losing them. Next, guided practice. This is where I would give them time. This is where the group work comes in. This is where the partner work comes in. They have to practice doing some things, having conversations together while I'm circling and checking and listening. And then at the next part of the lesson would be the independent practice. And this is where I would try to have some kind of a fun activity for them, some kind of a game for them. And this is kind of like, I know a lot of teachers say, my job is not to entertain, my job is to teach the content. And that may be, but if you have a student like me who learns from activity, who learns from fun ways of getting information, then you know what, I'm gonna retain it better, I'm gonna learn it better. So this is the independent practice, is again like where you're walking the whole time. Teachers don't sit, right? When we have guests in our homes, what do? We're going around checking on everybody, making sure everyone's okay. And it's like the same thing. The students are the guests in our classroom. We're checking on them. We're making sure they're okay. We're making sure they're learning. And also when we catch them with making mistakes, we help them. We address the problems with them so that they can learn from the mistakes. And so that independent practice is where some kind of a fun activity would be done. And then the last part would be some kind of an exit ticket, closing the lesson, something along those lines. And I did forget to mention that in the direct instruction, in the very beginning part of the direct instruction, is where I would do the introduction to the lesson, just a very quick what they're gonna learn. Throughout the lesson, especially towards the end of direct instruction, the guided practice is where you want to have a critical thinking question involved, or one or two especially, so that way the kids can learn from the kind of how to synthesize, how to compare contrast, how to tie it to a real world example or real world scenario. And so that's kind of where that would come into play. Feel free to download the template, see if you like it, see if it works for you, or you can make one of your own using the parts that I have already shared with you. That way you can use it and you can play with it, make it better. Please save them, save them, save them. Save your lessons, your PowerPoint lessons by date and by title. So that way the next year that you're teaching the same content area, the same subject, you just have to pull what you did. Okay, you might be off by 1 or 2 days, but you can pull it and just make small revisions, small changes to make it a little bit better each time. But when you save it like that, it's easy to retrieve, easy to work off of, because planning takes a lot of time. Planning takes a lot of energy, and you don't have to recreate the wheel every year. That's not a smart way to go. You'll have a base that you're just going to refine year after year. I hope that you found the video helpful and useful, and I will catch you in the next one.